previously on Easy Dispel. Uh, you, as a group, having survived the shipwreck um, at the hands of the mysterious monstrous squid creature, made your way up the coast, kind of through um, pristine, seemingly not particularly dangerous to you guys, new strange land. You encountered some interesting natural growth, large razor-like vines that would cut into you as you walked through. Had a restless night with some creaking trees that were moving with no wind, it seems, in the distance. Made your way to Harlan's Landing. You met with, initially, the governor, Renault, who kind of welcomed you to the town, listened to the story about how there were other survivors from the shipwreck, about a day and a half journey along the coast that had hidden away. I listened to you. He organized a small scouting party and asked you to depending on your own skill sets, if you would be better suited to searching for missing scouts that had gone into the next morning. Sure, he set you up with some place to stay at the Giant's Rest, a ramshackle tavern run by the Goliath Tarley Stone Mall. In the morning, he met back up with you and over breakfast, kind of inquired as your skill sets and asked if you'd be better suited to either establishing contact with the nearby settlement of Falks to acquire supplies and send word back to the mainland, or if you would be better suited towards pursuing the missing scouts into the woods. A little bit of deliberation amongst yourselves, you decided that the missing scouts was more your forte. Met up with Commander Grayson at the gates of Harlan's Landing, who kind of gave you a rundown. The previous scouts had gone missing over a week ago. They were supposed to have returned after 3 days journey into the forest, 3 days back. So they're a few days late. A secondary expedition had been sent out that has also not returned. Has had no word, and they were supposed to return the previous day. So they're sending you as the kind of third leg of this ladder of missing people to hopefully find the cause. And he says that your priority is to discover what is causing the scouts to go missing, more so than to recover those already missing, so that you don't necessarily fall into danger before they. We come back in as you are setting your way off through the cleared forest area of stumps, about 200 feet or so of just cleaned trees and undergrowth. Early in the day, as you strike off into the woods. As you're setting out, how are you going about? Like, what are we doing? What's the marching order? Thought going into this. Let's get started.
Oh, well, we should probably have the tracker up front.
I mean, if that's okay with O'Relton. I know he's got a different version of leading.
Sure, as long as we get there.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll jump up front.
So we're going to be following your lead. If I can let's go an initial survival check. That's you've been given kind of general directions. I believe Commander Grayson also gave you kind of a crude map of the surrounding area, which if you have our world map open on Albert Radio. Also really quick, and the recap, if anybody, just for recording purposes, big shout out to Syrinscape, who's providing all that background ambience music. Want to make sure I get that thanks to him. So sorry for interrupting. But on the world map we're using, the map you've got it mostly details this kind of triangle formation.
Okay.
Here, you guys are down here, landing. And then more crudely, it extends up to this mountain range to the north. And I've discussed this with Will. East is to the right and extending up towards the northwest.
Good job, buddy. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay. I mean,
I've
technically,
learned-
the map could be oriented whatever way you like, but typically.
And I mean,
For
this is
convention's
a
sake.
different world. We could just call it Weiss.
East.
Yeah, that's not going to be confusing at all.
Yeah.
Could just use that handy compass at the bottom left and put
Right.
in the directions, but
Just
that's
put
fine.
letters. But, yeah. Look, this is not a failing of the map that I've. This is a personal failing. I understand that.
So you wanted a survival check for me?
Yeah, you can give me a survival check.
Okay, that's 9.
9. Okay. Right. One sec. Pulling this up. You start heading off into the forest. You are going kind of the correct direction, following along the river that runs along the eastern edge of Harlan's Landing. And you do cross the large sawmill that's been built, and lumber has been regularly being fed into it. Had something open and I accidentally closed it. To Control T, find my spot. All right, you aren't as you kind of make it into the underbrush. You're not making great time. You're going in the right general direction, but you are getting slowed down by this thick underbrush that runs right up to the edge of the river. And so it's going to slow you down a little bit. For your first half of the journey, you probably make it about half as far as you could have as if you were picking the easiest path.
Where in the hell are you taking us?
Sorry, this is new land. I'm trying to find the best route, but this brush is kind of crazy.
I'll say.
Find somewhere there isn't brush.
I'm trying, man. I promise I'm trying.
As we go, so let's go ahead and give me another survival check.
Just for clarification purposes, are we in forest right now?
You are in forest right now.
Okay.
So survival for tracking and making your way
Traversing as well.
traversing as
So
well.
once we've traveled at least an hour, then we can't become lost by magical means, and we remain alert, or I remain alert to danger even though I'm engaged in another activity. And we can move stealthily at a normal pace, or I can, yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, so especially at Kaya's bidding, you take a minute to kind of reset yourself. And you work your way farther away from the river, where you had initially kind of anticipated it would be less dense. But the undergrowth came right up to the edge of about a 20-foot drop. What's going on? What are we?
I'm
Just his
sorry,
face.
like Will's angry face and his little octopus. I was just like, I can't do it. It's too cute.
The matching colors is what got me. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even see your octopus at first. No, it's fine. Like I was like looking around, like what is Svala laughing at? What's she making little hearts? And I did
Sorry.
not see the octopus in the bottom left.
I was trying so hard not to crack a smile. Just
I have no control.
I wish I had an orange shirt.
Okay, and for this with the natural 20, I want if you can do me a favor and roll your d20 again. Just tell me the number you roll. But you kind of find your way onto an animal run, 14.
Yeah.
Into this animal run, and it makes much easier traversal. Following along, you find humanoid footprints. Looks like two different groups, several days apart. pretty easily identifiable, as these are the actual tracks of the scouts that have gone missing, and they're heading deeper into the forest, kind of still in the general direction told.
Do we know how many scouts we were looking for?
There were. I don't think he gave you a specific number, but he would have told you there were approximately 6 people in each group.
Okay.
12 people. Interesting.
This. Everybody now can make a perception check as you're moving.
15.
18.
9.
Um,
14.
14. Mike, what did you get?
15.
15. Okay. Anybody that got above a 10. As you're moving through the forest, I know it's kind of off the path. There's this just slight thrumming sound, just a. Boom.
Do you guys hear
Do you
that?
all hear that? Yes, the
definitely hear it.
the hum, the like
The home.
ribbit almost.
Home.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. No idea what that was. Is it coming from over there?
And as you kind of point off to the west side of the path, there's kind of like a faint shimmering light that you kind of see as you kind of inspect closer off the path, just through the undergrowth. Just a light shimmering, almost, and it's kind of flashing across the trees. There's notes of like pastel pinks and blues.
Oh, I have
Like
to go
something that's
see
just
this.
moving really quickly.
No, it's kind of an even thrum, and then just every now and then, like just a light kind of glow, kind of backlighting the trees. You're in a pretty dense undergrowth, so any light is pretty visible. Technically, you guys would mostly be in dim light conditions, but slightly better than that is during the day. But pretty easy to see.
Doesn't matter because I don't see any of this.
Yeah, you're. Once it's pointed out, you can kind of like hear it. It's difficult though. That's something about just the tone is just outside of the Dragonborn spectrum.
Should we?
Sounds like
Raven.
forest.
Let's sneak down there and see what that is.
I agree. Let's go. And
You want to go to the creepy noise in the middle of the forest?
look, you stay here.
Quietly.
If you're so scared, I thought you were a tough guy being
I didn't
in
say I
prison,
was
but
scared.
if you don't want to go near it, we'll take care of it.
It's the most shade I've heard Raven throw since I've known him.
Sorry, I didn't mean to crawl up your arse.
And I guess we'll stealth our way over there.
Okay, go ahead and give me stealth checks. For whoever is going to investigate this.
I'll be in the back. but,
Done rolling
you know-
digital dice today.
Dirty 20.
Ow.
Dirty 20.
I'm gonna stay back a little bit, but 50.
Okay.
8.
8.
13.
13. As a group, you move with Raven leading, moving kind of off the path, managing to avoid. Now that you know to look for it, mostly where you're moving slowly, you're able to avoid clumps of razor vine that are quite dense. And you're realizing as you get farther into the forest, they're getting more and more dense. You kind of come in, it opens up into a small clearing, which is not uncommon, but here the ground is much more lush. There's some flowers growing. The trees seem just a little bit hardier. And in the air, in the center of this clearing, there seems to be a small, like 3 or 4 inches of just where the air seems to be torn. And as you move around, like there's the shimmer from one side, and as you move to this side, it looks like you can see into the tear. And on the other side, it is still forest, but it is these vibrant hues of green and purple. The light seems to shimmer with energy, and it is giving off those kind of pastel-hued tones that are flashing through the portal just on occasion.
Have you guys ever seen anything like this?
I don't think that's supposed to be there.
So I'll let anybody that's trained in it make a Arcana check. Anybody that's not proficient in Arcana can make it at disadvantage.
Oh shit, that's still not bad. Okay, take it.
15 at disadvantage.
14 at disadvantage.
7 at disadvantage.
You guys aren't sure where it is, but both of you are relatively familiar with magic of some sort. And there is definitely a similar kind of energy to this as some conjuring magics and things you've seen. Anytime, like if you ever were encountered of anybody summoning any.
Here, you just cut out.
Yeah, you just cut out. No sound.
Nope.
Yeah, no sound at all.
It was very sudden.
Just yell real
I
loud
can
and
hear
it'll
you
come through
through
Will's mic.
I'll just repeat everything he says.
Maybe,
I know what's going on.
He knows what's going on.
Did you say conjuration magic? Is that what I heard?
No, he said he knows what's going on.
But yes, I said conjuration.
There we go.
Yes, conjuration.
we heard you through your mic, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. My broadcast setup had crashed.
Ah.
Discord
Oh.
defaulted to my other mic, which is no microphone. Yeah, but it has a similar feel to like conjuration magics. Some higher level magic users, their magical familiars, they're like pixies, anything like that, have a similar feel to it, but you wouldn't know specifically what this is.
Do we see anybody around, or any creature or anything around in the area?
Go ahead and make another perception check.
14.
15.
And did the tracks lead past this, or do they come to this point?
So you actually kind of went just off the path, about 15 feet from where the tracks were going. It was just something you could run across.
Okay.
And about
And
how far away from Harlan's Landing is this? Or
you've made it probably. It's getting closer to noon. It took you a little while to get this far. You're probably now that your scout has kind of found his way. You're probably about a quarter day's distance out from Harlan's Landing.
Okay.
Which I'm going to call 10 miles. I feel like it's reasonable.
yeah, that's
But with perception of 15, you do not see any creature or anything.
Do you think we should hit it with something?
Throw a rock through it.
I would not advise that.
Or as you kind of pick up a small rock that would fit through it, and you toss it, and you see it passes through it and goes dunk, and just kind of rolls onto the ground on the other side of it.
Seems pretty benign to me.
I'll admit this isn't my specialty, so.
This looks like conjuration magic to me. Something similar to like pixies. I'm not terribly familiar with it, but I feel that there's something more going on in this forest than what meets the eye.
Is there anything to be done about it now, or it's
No,
not hurting
I
us?
that continuing on our way and keeping in mind that we may see something strange pop up, dangerous even.
The animals around here don't seem to be acting any different, do they? Like, i.e., we hear birds.
You hear birds, everything. That if anything, here they seem to be singing a little bit more, and the whatever magical energy seems to be leaking from it is kind of infusing the immediate vicinity of this small tear.
If anything, it looks like
there-
it's beneficial around here.
Does there appear to be less razor vine over here?
So about 10 feet away from this little tear, which is in the center of this grove, where the trees become immediately more dense, almost pressed up against it is a ton of razor vine, almost as if it was protecting this small grove. But within the grove itself, there's no razor.
So
So the razor vine is protecting where the tear is, or is it protecting something beyond where the tear is? I'm confused.
It's just a ring of razor vine,
Yeah,
right?
it's a ring of razor vine around this tear.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but that razor vine is kind of everywhere. And maybe it's just the area, maybe this stuff just grows like dandelions, but do you think it might have other means?
Means of
Like,
growing.
I know I'm talking about a plant here, but like, do you think it's being used maybe magically or by
It is
some
quite
creature?
it is quite the strange plant. I've never seen anything like it before.
Vines are meant to be a pest, right? They grow
Right,
everywhere
right.
anyway.
Maybe I'm just, taking it out of proportion here, but I don't know. It keeps catching my eye.
I don't know either. Nothing we can answer now.
It might be best for us to keep
I-
moving,
Think so.
I
Let's
agree.
go.
and we'll head back to the trail and push forward.
Volley, you have the. Wow, your passive perception is a lot. As you guys are kind of gathered around and talking, you kind of out of the corner of your eye catch a little bit of movement kind of on the inside of the tear. The rock that Arelton flew is gone.
Hold on. One moment.
Hmm?
Would you throw another rock through?
Rolls a little bit.
And it goes through the tear and
Yep.
lands just on the ground on our
Yep.
side, rolls away like normal, right? As if the
No,
tear was
on the other side, like through the tear, you can see the rock land and roll along, but looking around to the other side of the tear, there's nothing there.
It is not on our plane anymore.
It is not on your plane anymore. Well, now that you're paying a little bit more of attention, like he kind of throws the rock, and you hear a soft giggle, and then the rock picks up off of the ground and slowly vanishes.
Did any of you see that?
See what?
The rock.
what?
The same pebble that he threw just vanished.
And did it like
a second pebble?
Thanos snap vanish, or just
No,
suddenly?
it like started floating up off of the ground, and then slowly starting at the top, just slowly disappeared. Didn't disintegrate, didn't seem to break. Volley, your armor class is 14, right?
Oh no.
Yes.
That's as you're like kind of peering in the hole, watching, like trying to look for clues to what happened. The rock immediately becomes visible as it strikes you in the forehead, not with enough force to deal any damage.
Did you see that?
I did.
You see a small humanoid figure that like as the rock struck you, turns and kind of flies away off out of the your perspective that you can see within the turn, and there's just soft giggling
On our plane or on the?
Within the tear or outside of?
on the inside of the tear. So the rock, as you're like looking for the rock, it disappeared, and then a couple seconds later, a rock became immediately visible, and within the tear, you saw some flow up away out of your like field of vision.
Okay. I'm fairly certain this is a conjuration of pixies or something similar. I'm gonna pull out the vine that I had kept in the little capsule, and I'm gonna see what happens if I get it closer to the tear, and I'm gonna get up close to it.
As you get closer to this tear, nothing quite happens until you get within like 3 or 4 inches of it. The razors, like the razor-like thorns on it, recede to short, like almost like a rose stem, and they become just a much more natural, less dangerous as it's closer to.
I'm gonna pull them away again, and then do they go back to razor blades?
Just kind of pulling it away from the portal.
Yeah.
No, that's in the grove. It seems to be remaining the same.
I'll break off a piece of foliage that's not razor vine
Okay.
and do the same thing with it. See if there's any change.
So like you go to the edge of the clearing and take like a tree branch or something, like a
or
small something with leaves and everything. Like as you get close, the leaves become slightly more vibrant. That's just the colors of everything. Anything natural, like just becomes slightly more vibrant and lush. And there's not much that can happen really with just a branch, but the leaves on it just become like that, like brighter green color. The wood becomes a more rich, dark brown color.
Does anyone have any rope?
Probably.
Would not suggest going in there.
Yeah, I've got 50 feet.
I'll do 2.
I'm gonna look around the clearing and see if are there any like tracks or any footprints or anything. Or actually, hold on. Raven, could you help me see if there are any footprints? I wonder if our our scouts tried to climb through this.
Yeah, I can take a look. I think their footprints continued on the trail though, but I can definitely take a look and see if I can find anything.
Okay. You guys can each either you can each make a survival check, or one of you can make it with advantage.
Well, I already rolled, so I'm gonna let you make the call.
You should make it with advantage.
Okay.
You should make it with advantage.
Not much better. 9.
9.
Oh.
It was a natural 1 before.
Much better.
Okay.
Looking around, nothing really like. Yeah, there doesn't really seem to be any footprints, anything like that. But there's, like I said, it is very like lush forest. It's almost like trying to look for footprints in grass.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything. But is it just me, or does it seem like this is like a life source? Like everything around it is better.
Seems to be doing good for whatever's around it. Yeah.
I mean, it took away those thorns. I mean, the razor.
Oh, Rolton, will you do me a favor?
What?
Hold on to this rope.
Sure.
I'm going to tie the other half around me. I'm going to stick my head in and see what happens.
And again, but the tear is only about 3 or 4 inches. Like it's not very big.
Okay.
Like when you're throwing rocks, it's literally
I'm going to stick my hand.
And I'm going to wrap around a tree, so if something does pull her through, I have like a little bit of pulley leverage.
Okay. And
I'm going to come over and just like with my non-dominant hand, slowly touch the edge of it.
Okay, that's you would like it reaches up and there's resistance against your hand. You feel like you'd have to turn and you would have to turn your hand a little bit to the side to be able to put it through the portal. But there's like a pressure almost. I'm trying to think of a way to. It's almost like if you are holding a magnet and push it in a reverse polarity against another magnet, where it's not a physical force but pushes back against you.
Okay.
And that's just the parts of your hand that are touching the outside, like that tear in reality.
Okay. I'm gonna try and stick my fingers in, dive right in there.
Okay, you tickle them in and you just stick your hand and wiggle it around. That's the air is distinctly warmer on the other side. It's probably in like the high 50s, low 60s where you're at, and it is a sharp change to like 80 degrees on the other side. Balmy, much less humid. You just wiggle your fingers around for a minute. Just
Just to feel what it feels like for a second. Probably see if I can stick it clear up to my wrist. Dive right in there.
Yeah, you're able to get and take some wiggling when your arm touches like the edge of it. It just has that same like push, like it kind of flexes against you. I'm not gonna make that shape, but the tear like flexes and moves against the sides of your arm as you kind of wiggle through. It seems to like as you kind of push up to your elbow, it stretches a little bit, and you see the tear go, and it stretches another like inch.
And I'm gonna pull my arm back as soon as it starts to stretch out, like any kind of.
And it's just like if there's a cut in fabric as you're like pushing into it, it just slowly starts to like pull as you push on that edge.
Vala, switch me spots. Actually, somebody
right.
else hold the other end of this. No offense.
Yes, none taken.
I'll help it, but Kaya, can you help me out?
I
Maybe
guess
all
I'll
three.
try. You probably
Yes.
shouldn't be.
Puny little things.
Probably shouldn't be messing with this. Just saying.
Just having some fun.
Yeah.
Take it.
What do we have to lose?
All right.
So
Everything?
seeing
Our
Seeing it
lives,
have-
maybe. I mean,
about to find out. Seeing it have torn a little bit when Vala got up to it, I will also stick my fingers in this way and see if I can't just grab both sides and
Yeah, you start pulling on it, and it starts stretching open, and there is like a tearing sound that starts like as you're pulling. And it is like echoing. It is tremendously loud, and you kind of pull, and you will get to the point. You probably stretch it to about where it's about now 2 feet long, and as you let go, it kind of pulls back on the sides a little bit. But you now have a hole that you could pretty easily stick your head through if you chose to.
I don't want to brag, but tearing a hole in reality makes a guy feel pretty powerful. And I'm just like,
As you stick your head through and like kind of look up, there is a small girlish figure who has her hands on her hips and is looking down at you. And she says, "Do you happen to speak Sylvan?"
I do not.
She says something in a foreign language, and she has a very high-pitched feminine voice, and she kind of has like a chastising look on her face.
Can I hear it?
And I need you to make a.
Say wisdom.
I'm pretty sure it's a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
Can I hear
gonna
what
be
she
bad.
said? From where I'm at?
What's your passive perception?
14.
Yeah. You should
Okay,
be
I
able-
can speak Sylvan, so.
She says, "You shouldn't have done that, and you shouldn't be here." And what did you get on your wisdom saving throw, Will?
A 5.
A 5. In front of you guys, Orelton sticks his head through, Raven, you hear this, and Orelton vanishes.
Does it pull on the rope at all?
Nope, the rope falls slack, landing, curling at the feet of a small squirrel that's standing there looking grumpy and confused. A black-furred squirrel.
Oh, God.
Black-furred squirrel.
She said we shouldn't have done that.
And the terror,
Immediately.
and the terror kind of pulls closed a tiny bit, seemingly kind of recovering slightly on its own.
Going to cast Mage Hand and try to grab this squirrel before it scurries away.
Okay. Just Will, as a squirrel, are you you still have your own personality? You just have the stats and intelligence of a squirrel.
Nobody's gonna manhandle me.
So here's the thing: you can't see Mage Hand though.
Yeah, you can, unless you're an arcane. No, it's physical because the arcane trickster specifically, their mage hand is invisible.
Oh,
it is an actual embodied hand shows up. Squirrel. You are looking around, slightly confused. You dropped a couple feet. You didn't take any damage. Fine. And this blue humanoid hand swirls into appearance over you and starts trying to pick you up.
I run away.
Okay, let's go. This is going to be acrobatics versus David. It's your spell casting ability modifier. So if you're to roll a spell attack.
Spell attack? Look for a squirrel real quick. Pet?
Yeah. Do it on pet, probably.
Roll? I don't know how to find a squirrel. Beast companion. Nope. Familiar?
Maybe. I'm just going to try searching. Roll. Use the
rat.
Yeah, use the stats of a rat.
Okay, and I'm making a what now?
Say acrobatics or dexterity.
And acrobatics is
If it doesn't have it,
Yep.
Okay, if it doesn't have it listed, just use your dexterity modifier as a rat.
+0. Man, 8.
12.
12. That's you see the hand and you dart to the side, and just in midair, this ghostly hand catches you by your tail and just slowly picks you up, and you start spinning in place.
With my intelligence of 4, or excuse me, of 2, which is a -4, I desperately try to bite the mage hand.
Hey, make an attack against mage hand. I'm gonna have to look up.
I don't think it will damage anything.
It doesn't.
We'll
I don't
tilt your
think it does.
mic away a little bit.
Why?
Oh, we're just catching your breath.
Because you're breathing into it.
That's a 17 plus, I guess, nothing.
I'm gonna say, yeah. There's nothing that says you can actually destroy a mage hand.
Right.
And so your teeth sink into it, and it's just kind of locked in on the grip.
I continue to bite it.
I'm gonna bring him closer to us, and as he gets in front of me, what did you do with Elton? I guess.
I believe that is Elton.
What do you mean it's Elton? It's not Elton. It's a squirrel.
If I get close enough to any
Been
of the
turned
other ones,
into
I'll
a
bite them.
squirrel. I'm gonna
a light
pull off
giggling.
my cloak.
Okay.
And try and collect it around Sir Olton, around the squirrel, like a bag.
Okay. It's easy enough to do with the hand holding it from it. You are able to pull it around the hand itself. David, you're able to dispel the hand. So never.
While this is all happening,
I lost my birdies.
While this is all happening, I'm gonna walk up towards the terror, and in Sylvan speak back to the little girl, and just say, "We're so sorry. Can you We won't ever do that again. Can you, whatever you did, can you turn it? Can you reverse it?
Can you promise not to mess with Father's things?
I
The figure
promise.
is now like floating. She has wings. The wings are not flapping. It looks like she's just standing on the air, and she's just on the other side of this tear that is slowly like recovering itself. It's probably shrunk a good 2 or 3 inches. Can you promise not to mess with Father's things?
I promise. We promise. We're so sorry.
Good. You're much more polite than that mean woman.
Who's father?
You're holding your cloak, which suddenly
Oh, I guess I
weighs slightly 200 pounds.
Slightly 200 pounds.
With a relative spilling out of it and you being pulled to the ground.
Relton's got like a good 6 inches of cloak just in his mouth, and
I'd probably topple on top of him.
that's embarrassing.
Hey, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Sorry.
On the next episode, Alexa, stop.
Perfect.
And I'll just
Oh
turn,
crap, Alexa, stop.
I'll just turn back to her. I'll just turn back to her and
Alexa,
say,
stop.
Karma's a bitch, huh?
Stop.
I'll just turn back to her and say, thank you so much. You mentioned father. We're new. Who's father?
My father. What a silly question. I have to go back fixing this rip. She kind of is no longer paying a whole lot of attention to you. She kind of flies up and starts actually pulling on the edges. She can't quite reach both sides. And so she's pulling on one and stretching towards the other and is trying to actually pull the rip back closed.
Relton, could you help her?
Yeah. And I will actually grab both sides, and I'll go slowly, so if anybody wants to ask her questions while I'm closing them.
Yeah, as you kind of walk up and reach out, she flutters, kind of back away. Her wings actually flapping this time, and she looks and you don't understand what she says, but Mike goes, if you attack me, I'll turn you into something much less cute than a squirrel.
No, we're not going to attack. We're not going to attack. We're just trying to help get things back to normal.
A stern glare.
Is there anything you guys want to ask?
Where that is.
Say that again.
Who she is, where that is. Everything that connects there to here.
If you don't mind me asking, what is this?
Well, it's a problem, is what it is. I guess it's more like a window. Father's not happy about these.
A window to where?
Here and there. Silly.
Where is where or there, if you don't mind me asking?
It's here.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. I'm sorry. My name's Raven. Can I get your name?
I'm Alessandra. Thank you for asking.
What is her attire? What is her race? What does she look like?
She looks like a small green-skinned humanoid. She is approximately 3 or 4 inches tall. She is wearing it looks to be just pants and a small blouse that comes down to about her midriff, that all seem to have been cut from leaves. She has large kind of gossamer butterfly wings that, based on how she's been flying around, seem to be purely aesthetic. She has, like I said, light green skin. She has vibrant blue hair. And she looks to be she looks like just a scaled down version of a woman in her like early 20s.
Okay.
Her name's Alessandra. Um, sh This leads to there is all I'm getting.
Ask her who made this.
Excuse me,
Ask her who made these.
who made this? Who made this hole? This tear?
Nobody makes these. They just show up. There's some sort of discombobulation on your side, and it's causing our side to seep through to yours.
Interesting.
Did you mention who her dad was?
I haven't got to that yet. So she said that this is something that just happens, and sometimes it leaks our side to her side, and they have to repair them. Who's your father? What's your father's name?
We just call him Father. He's I suppose, the lord of these lands. He protects us. He watches over things that are natural and good, and protects them from things that are bad and mean.
I'll relay that.
And the just that you're getting, is she like, she seems fairly, I don't want to say dumb, but like simple, like
Juvenile almost.
where are you, where am I, like they're almost like foreign concepts. It's very much well, here's here and there's there.
Gotcha.
Father is father. This is a problem. Like, she doesn't seem equipped to give you like super articulate answers to what it is.
Gotcha.
But
Could you tell her I apologize?
So this is Vala, and she's very sorry for what she's done.
kind of looks and she gives a wave, but then like catches herself and like stiffens her back again and lifts her nose away. She doesn't say anything in response to that. She like started to be like hi and reintroduce herself, and then
And this is O'Relton, and he's very sorry as well.
Yeah. Let's fix this.
you get back to fixing it. So, and as you kind of like start like pulling it, it does seem to catch back at that 4 or 5 inch mark. Like it doesn't get smaller than that. And she kind of floats down and she goes, "Yeah, this is where I got stuck too."
I can pull harder. That's all I got.
Do you have any idea of how we can possibly close this?
Not until whatever is causing it is fixed. That's I was told to, for now, to stop anything from coming from our side to yours, and I've been mostly successful.
Stop me.
Mostly.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Mostly.
I guess
Well,
I can't finish. So sorry.
I'll keep relaying information.
Well, you're quite polite, Raven. I appreciate that.
Thank
Did
you.
anything get through?
Has anything gotten through other than my friend?
Not much.
It
Not
seems like a
much?
yes.
Just small things,
Not
or
much. Just little things, tangible things, wood spirits and such. Nothing to really worry about. They hardly ever hurt anyone.
wood spirits?
Okay.
Did they come from here to there, from there to here?
Do they come from your side or our side?
They come from this side. And nothing's come from yours. The mean lady, she's come through a couple times, but Father said she was allowed. She was going to help solve the problem.
The mean
Oh.
lady.
This isn't the mean lady? And I'll point to Vala.
That's not the mean lady?
She seems like a very nice lady. The mean lady's much meaner. Never stops. She only cares for Father. But if she's helping him solve the problem, then I suppose it's fine.
If you don't mind me asking, what does the mean lady look like?
The mean lady, she
Looks mean.
looks
Whoa.
she looks kind of like you and you. And she looks at you, Raven, and you, Vala. But she doesn't look like you or you towards Kaya and Orelton.
Not many people do.
She's quite pretty, but
So,
she's rude, which I think is ugly.
I agree. Does she always happen to have any particular like cloak or clothing on, or like any colors that she generally wears?
She changes. She usually wears a cloak. And give me a sec. No moment.
what do her ears look like?
She
Are
has
they
long
pointed
ears.
or round?
Oh, that's wait. You're relaying after.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Raven. Are you?
Yeah.
we'll just
Anything they
assume you're
say, they relay.
translating.
Yeah.
Okay. That's she has long ears. She's tall. She changes clothes. Usually she's wearing a cloak, but in particular, black hair. She can speak with me too, but she usually doesn't tell me. Do rude things.
I can't imagine why
I
she
haven't
would
been
wanna
able
speak
to-
with you.
I haven't been able to turn her into a squirrel. I've tried.
Well, as interesting as all this information is, I don't think it helps us out a lot at the moment.
Well, if you're going to be on your way, I'm going to close this. She goes, and she is able now to reach both sides, and she's just like pulling on it to absolutely no avail.
Best of luck.
Well, I guess we continue on.
Well, Alessandra, it's been a pleasure meeting you, and I hope we get to see you again. And good luck with everything.
Been nice meeting you too, Raven. And you, Vala. And the squirrel guy. Pointy didn't say much.
Pointy.
He's a quiet one.
I hope that sticks.
And we'll head back to the trail, I think.
Okay. As you kind of leave this grove, Vala, did you the vine? Did you kind of leave it in the grove, or did you keep it with?
No, it's still in my vial.
Okay. So you want, like, as you leave the grove and get kind of outside of the circle, the thorns grow and curl back around the vine itself, like razor-like protrusions.
And the roses are gone.
And
Right.
yeah, the
Okay.
roses.
Well, that was
Honestly,
interesting.
Yeah, probably something we want to keep note of.
Maybe next
What?
time we don't stick our heads in there and we ask. You know,
Seemed to go just fine. Ask who?
anything that's there. Maybe, permission. Just be polite.
Sure. Trees, you mind if I walk on through? Vines, excuse me, and I'll just keep stepping on and walk away.
So
Are you all not astonished by what's happened?
I mean, very. I mean,
I mean, yes.
I walked away.
All right. Normal day in the forest. Let's keep on going, I guess.
I think this is something we can
I
start
I mean,
to
what
expect.
do we do
of-
about it? Stand here and be astonished?
Right.
I think this is something we can kind of expect of this land, though. They, back at the Harlan's Landing, they mentioned the wood had magical essence to it as well. But I guess keep moving forward. I think we should find these scouts.
all right. So with that, if you're continuing forward, go ahead and make another survival check for me, Raven. With advantage, because your previous one was a natural 20. And I think you have advantage anyway, with this being a forest. Or no, you just can't become lost.
Right.
That's a magical. So yeah,
And we
go ahead
also are not
and-
slowed on this terrain at this moment.
Okay, yeah, I'm not actually going to. Yeah, give me a survival check. This is rather
Dirty 20.
dirty 20. Yeah, no problem. You're easily able to find keep on the path of the scouts. Another couple hours go by, and you do see a small smear of blood. And upon further investigation, it looks like somebody actually fell into a thicket of the razor vine. And there's not a ton of blood. It doesn't look like somebody bled out there, but there's a couple smears. Somebody was very clearly scrambling out of this thicket. Can
we tell direction of travel or maybe the size of the individual based on these blood smears or the print in the bramble?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an either investigation check or perception. And this can be anybody in the party that wants to do.
Jesus Christ. 10.
10.
12.
Investigation.
Investigation or perception.
Oh, okay. 12.
12.
Perception then is 17.
17. Kind of as you guys look around, that's it doesn't seem to be anything huge. Volley, you kind of know, you find a strip of cloth, it seems to come from somebody's shirt, and the way that the blood smears are kind of going, and they only go on for a couple feet before they stop. It does look like there was somebody in one of the scouting parties tripped. It was somebody just fell into a thicket of razor. With your perception check, you notice that though there is blood on the trees and the ground in some amount, there is none on the razor vine itself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's one of those things, you notice a spot it's obvious that there was one of the spots they got cut, a piece of razor vine growing around the tree, and there's almost a smeared handprint that you can see on the tree, and then as it crosses over the vine is gone, and then on the tree on the other side of the vine, and there's the rest of the hand. And handprint I'm using loosely. It's a blood smear on bark, but.
Do you relay that to the rest
Kaya,
of us?
can I see your hand?
My
Not yet.
my hand.
I just want to compare it in size. So I'm gonna hold up a hand close to the size of the hand that's on the handprint that's there, and I'm gonna prick one of his fingers.
Okay. And you just try and get some blood onto the.
Put a little bit of just prick his hand just a tiny bit so I can get some blood and put it on the razor blade. Fine.
We'll say you take 1 point of damage from this. It's a solid enough nick that she can actually get enough blood. And you smear blood on the razor vine. Nothing seems to happen.
Okay.
A couple seconds later, though, the vine shifts a little bit, and the blood gets sucked into the vine itself.
Here, don't you whine about it, and then I'm gonna wrap up his finger and put a little bandage on it.
There you go.
I know vines are supposed to be pests, but I don't think they usually suck blood.
And now it's gonna be able to track me or kill me, or because it has my blood now.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who came over here as a prisoner, thinking that they were going to be killed as soon as they got here, you seem to be scared of everything.
Probably nag that guy to death, I'd imagine.
Look, I just... Fine.
And as a group, do you continue on?
Yeah.
Okay. Continue through. This will be the last stretch of. This will be the last stretch of this day. Go ahead and make one more survival check for me.
6.
You don't become lost because you can't. You don't slow down because you can't. There's a point that you know the direction you're going. You do have to backtrack because you lose the trail itself, and you spend the rest of the day. You don't make a whole lot of forward progress, but because you just have to backtrack to a point that you can re-find the tracks. They veered off kind of more to a westerly direction. I said west, not west. Not any other direction. Veer westward. If that's a word. But it is kind of starting to settle into the evening at this point.
Well, should we make camp?
Not gonna lie, I'm sick of walking. I'm good for camp.
Yes.
If that's your call, yeah.
Well, if you guys want to start setting up camp, I'll go look for some food for us.
Did we go
Be
along
careful.
the river or... Oh, never mind.
So you had cut off along, kind of off to a different long. You're no longer near it. You cut back further into the forest. But you settle in. You make camp. We're going to see we're able to get through watches just fine. What order are you guys taking a watch in? We'll say everybody has to take at least one watch. If you want to take it with somebody, you can. But
I'll
I'll go
take the
first.
early morning watch.
So I'll take the late night.
perfect. Mike, David.
I'll go third.
Kaya probably
Leave.
won't want to take his watch alone. So
We'll say you can stagger them so that like the first half of Arelton's shift will be him alone, and the last half of Vala's shift will be them alone. But everybody else is overlapping, so there's never outside of those 2 moments. Never just one person.
never just one person. Okay, so here's the other side too. I was actually looking in kind of probably should have talked about this earlier, but with long rests, you don't have to sleep the entire long rest. You know, you
Yeah.
can go with 6 hours of sleep and you're fine as long as you get 8 hours of just rest.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't
it's-
have to be necessarily sleep or anything like that.
Yeah, and so we're I'm assuming that part of like the active watch kind of breaks that up. So everybody has to get through their watches before you're able to successfully get your long rest. I'm just not worrying necessarily about the times at all. It's just you all have an opportunity to take watch. It overlaps however you want. We won't worry about really the math or anything. But I want to leave it open, so if I want to really fuck you guys over later, I can be like, hey, you didn't get your full rest.
True.
Okay.
So I mean, if we could, I can tell you, my character being character he is, he's definitely not going to want to be alone on watch.
Yeah, so you'll actually overlap where you're going second. The first, like the second half of a Relton shift will overlap with the first half of yours, and then the second half of yours overlaps the first half. Happens.
Perfect.
So you'll be alone for like Raven's pee breaks, and whenever if a Relton decides to abandon you at night. Let's get a perception check just from everybody. I can resolve these in order, so we'll start.
7.
7.
1.
Your guys' shift goes. Doesn't seem to be really any event.
12 for
Raven?
me.
12. Okay, nothing really seems to happen on your watch. And Rachel?
15.
15. Yeah, there's not really anything that goes on during your watch either. Goes by without any real incident.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
That's fucked up
Alright.
and meta, man.
You kind of
During
all reconvene in the morning. Oh, sorry, what was that?
Good.
Oh no, I didn't
I
know
was
you
gonna
were
say
doing.
during my watch, I'm gonna.
No, you go first.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna examine the vine a little bit, see if I can learn anything more from it, see how it reacts to like dirt and other things.
Okay, so like pulling it out and touching it to the dirt, and again, this is like a series of experiments where you set it in the ground. Make let's go a general intelligence or nature check.
Okay. Can I do medicine?
That doesn't really fall into the purview of
No. 12.
12. Yeah. A couple hours into your shift, like you try exposing it to dirt and water and putting it closer to the heat of the fire and farther away. You don't really get any response until you kind of like stick one end in the dirt and you pour water over it. And nothing really happens, but you grab it to pull it back, and it has rooted itself about 2 inches. Like it almost immediately tried to set roots. Yeah, once you placed it in the ground, like second end of it in the ground, and poured water onto it, it began. You all wake up in the morning. You're all fine. Nobody got killed in the night.
Yet.
That wasn't just me having fun. Good morning.
Well, onward then.
Yeah. How's everybody's night?
About as good as I can be sleeping in the dirt, but
It's actually kind of
no
nice. I'm
different.
kind of enjoying all the natural sounds and everything. Never thought I'd enjoy that.
It's really relaxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't suck.
Kind of reminds me of prison a little bit, except a lot more open space.
So,
How,
not
so
prison?
not at all like prison.
Yeah, I mean, more space, but I mean, the ground is hard and cold and, you know.
You're traveling with people you don't want to be around, etc., etc. Yeah, I get that feeling.
I wouldn't say I don't want to be around you.
Oh, not me. I get it. You want to be around me, but, just...
Right.
Pack up camp, I guess.
So you pack up camp. Let's resume travel for the second day. Mike, if you want to give me a survival check.
That's cocked. That is a 10. No, sorry.
10.
Got my 6 and 9 mixed up. That is a 13.
13. Okay. Can I, as you, I'm turning a little bit so you can hear me. As you kind of resume travel for the day, easy enough. You kind of camped just off of the tracks. So you're able to cruise through. And make as the scout, you can make a perception check, and everyone else can make a perception check for me at disadvantage.
Can I just use my passive perception?
You actually, everybody give me your passive perceptions, except for Mike, who is leading the group. He has to make an active perception. 9?
10.
7.
20 for Vala. Yeah, because that's fucking
God damn.
nuts that your passive perception is 20, but she's also a cleric, so.
Cleric
All
human,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, how far ahead of the group are you leading everyone?
Not very. I'm not like trying to scout ahead. We're just following the tracks this time.
Okay. That's you're at the front, you go. And you lose the footprints for a sec. And it's a little weird, but like you stop and you kind of pan forward, and about 10 feet across you see the tracks. Again, there's just like a patch where you don't have them. Vala, to the side of the path, you see what looks like just a boot. One boot. And you think, how did a boot get? Why would a boot be left there? And Mike, as you take another step forward, you pitch face first as the ground kind of does not hold your weight as you step forward, leaving one foot poking back out. I'm going to need you to make a Actually, so this is handled a little bit specifically. You step forward and immediately sink 3 feet, so just to pass your waist.
Damn.
In what we'll call, I don't know, fast dirt. And you are restrained.
I've seen this. I think they call it accelerated soil. And I'll throw Mike, I'll throw Raven, pardon me, a bit of my 50-foot rope.
Okay. So you catch under the rope. Orelton, go ahead and make a strength check.
Jesus, with my dice. Rolled a 3 plus 3 for a 6.
Okay. You have the rope, Mike. And then you pull, and he pulls and like kind of relaxes. And as he relaxes, you sink another 5 feet as it just drops out beneath. Your head submerges. You're now 8 feet down.
Bauer,
So
grab the rest of
as
this.
soon as I see that, I'm gonna grab the rope and try to help.
I'm kind of
Okay. You're now-
same.
All right.
We rolling
We're going to
again.
go with a group check here.
Okay.
You have a rope. I will let all 3 of you roll. One of you can roll with advantage.
Probably me. So that's all 3 of us roll and one of us roll with advantage?
Yes. Or it's all 3 of you roll. One of you rolls with advantage.
Right. I'll take the advantage. Ah, much better.
13.
21.
Is this just a strength check?
Yep, it's a strength check.
0.
Oh my fuck.
Did you roll a natural 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, the DC here wasn't. So I'm not gonna lie. I read this and I'm like, I might have just killed Raven. And then I kept reading and it wasn't quite as bad as I thought. What's your Constitution score, Mike? Just so, no, you're not going to suffocate yet. There's a
Totally
moment where it catches, and I want to point out, like, Raven, you do not feel solid ground beneath you. Like, if you weren't holding onto the rope, you would continue sinking for all you know indefinitely. And then slowly the rope tightens, and you become pulling up. You sucked through this. I'm going to make what I'm going to call a toe strength check. If you could make a strength check for me, Mike.
Cocked.
Your DC 5.
Oh my fucking god.
Nothing too hard.
Yeah, I didn't get it. 3.
Yeah. As you're being pulled up, feel your boots start to slide off, and you curl your toes trying to hold on to them as you're pulled out of your boots.
Can we
Both
make
of
a
them?
pants strength check next?
Both boots.
Aw.
And you guys pull, and Raven gets sucked out of the fast earth. minus his shoes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for catching me.
I do make a perception check for me, Mike, from as you're being pulled out.
Oh, sure,
mean Raven?
now. Fucking 21.
As you were being pulled up, like, kind of were scrambling, like half swimming for a minute there, and your hand hit something soft and felt like fabric before you were pulled back up through.
Ah,
So I think I know where the rest of the boot is.
You
Um,
think?
I felt something. I'm not gonna lie. There's something down there. I think that's where part of the party is.
were we supposed to account for everyone or just figure out where they went?
Your goal is to figure out, like, if you can recover them, like, great, but your primary objective was just to figure out, like, what happened to the scouting groups. Mike, based on how you've been tracking, it seems like the number of tracks that you're following, very little of it changed. It's likely that only maybe one or two people actually fell into this.
Dropped in.
So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna walk over to the.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna walk over to the other boot and grab it and hand it to Raven. Being careful to make sure that I'm assuming it's like not in the dirt area, right?
Yeah, that's it, like seeing what it is, and it was one of those, like, Raven, you kind of processed what it was as your foot went through. You will safely be able to kind of make your way around this. Now knowing what it is. You now have one boot. Roll a D100 for me.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna say,
Nope.
Is this to
You
say
ready?
how many
You
grains
ready?
of dirt are in it?
yeah, I'm ready.
97.
97. It is way too big. I was about to say 50 means that it fits perfectly, and above that, it gets bigger and bigger, and below it, it gets smaller and smaller. This shoe looks like it would be a better fit for Tarley Stonemaul, the half giant, like the Goliath back at town. Like, you can fit both feet into the shoe.
I appreciate it, Vala, but I'm just gonna hang on to this one and I'm just gonna put it in my bag.
Use it as a boat.
Better than nothing, I guess.
True.
Continuing on, like, there's a couple times you have to avoid stepping into Razorvine. Being bootless, if you have to cross a section of Razorvine, just for a note in the future, you'll be at disadvantage for the saving throw to avoid damage.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there any way I could make some makeshift ooze for him with my the stuff that you would use to like splint an arm or something? So like I'd use like the wooden splint stuff on the bottom and then wrap it around.
Yeah, I like this. Let's go. If you have the, like, tailor's tools proficiency, otherwise this is just going to be like an intelligence check.
Okay, I'll just do the tailor's. I don't think I have the tailor stuff, so I'll just do the intelligence check.
Okay, yeah, just an intelligence check.
2.
2. You, like, as you're trying to wrap it, like, you didn't brush the sand, like the dirt off of his feet, and so, like, nothing's sticking, like nothing's catching the way it should be. Like, you managed to get something that might make walking. It's a 2. That's walking in these would Raven, as she straps them to your feet. It's a very kind gesture, but she put like the wood so the corner is pressing into the bottom of your foot. It'll be more uncomfortable to walk with what she put on your feet than it would to be barefoot.
I appreciate it. I'll use these anytime we need to cross the sharp stuff, but I'm part elf. It's not my first time in the forest without shoes.
All right.
As you wear the makeshift shoes of Vala, your speed would be reduced by 5 feet.
Guess I'll add those to my equipment.
You had a custom item, the makeshift shoes of Vala.
I'm much better at
Reduced.
splints.
That's essentially what she did. She splinted your foot, so like the arch of your foot was pulled flat. The wood of the splint was digging into it at odd angles. It would have been great if your foot had been broken.
If it wasn't supposed to move.
Right. As we continue on, might give me a survival check, and just let me know if you get a 1. That's effectively what we're looking at.
I almost lost my dice.
It's Raven.
Reach.
A Raven.
No, I did not get a 1.
Okay, perfect. You continue on. You make it to kind of the high noon point of the day without too much of an issue. Following the tracks. Give me another survival check for the first portion of the second half of the day.
15.
Perfect. Vala, you notice again. Ooh, close the wrong thing. As you're all pressing through, kind of off the side of the path, you do see a body.
Oh, hold on.
Hmm?
I think I found somebody. And I'm going to point over towards the body.
Well, hopefully they're... Oh.
And you see and kind of as she points it out, what you all see is just kind of poking out through the brush. There's just 2 boots poking out of dense foliage.
Well, should we go see if we can identify him?
Be careful. We don't know what took him.
About how far away is it?
It's probably about 5 feet off of it.
Oh, okay.
And by path, I mean trail that 2 scouting parties have already walked. So it's still pretty dense, but you're not having to...
I mean, it might sound kind of rude, but maybe you should take his boots.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I mean, he's not using them.
And
Grab him by the boots and pull him out of the underbrush.
yeah.
Go ahead and make a strength. Not a saving throw. Nothing's pulling back against you.
Wow, natural 20.
All right. So you grab him by the boots and just haul back on him. There's a spot like a slight catch. It seems to have caught on something. And as you pull, you see where his shirt is torn. Some bandages that had been there. But his skin is filleted from him. And you pull him off. Any exposed skin, Razorvine had crept around and just degloved and just tore away from with how sharp it is and just how hard you pulled. And just you essentially have a half-skinned man that you pull out. His boots pop off. Go ahead and give me another D100. The closer to 50, the better they fit. Boot roll.
They're
Still
giant
got a
boots
1.
again. 97.
God, dang it. Twice?
Again?
though?
Do you
Again.
have loaded percentile dice or
Dude.
some shit? Like, what the hell?
Again.
And it's-
Roll it again.
I've rolled different dice every single time.
Yeah, and this one actually is Goliath, and he's as you pull him out. That's just based on size and the remaining skin that he has is kind of a deep gray with some markings. But another Goliath.
Just for clarification, the skin pulled when I pulled him out, or it was already filleted?
like it was cut, and as you pulled him, like you see the razor vine had like wrapped around his arm, and as you pulled, the razor vine being pulled across it is what like skinned him. He was already very much dead.
I'm gonna run and throw up and look away from a little bit.
I'm gonna laugh at him.
And I'm gonna get closer and look at how the razor vines had kind of like study how they wrapped around, how long I think he may have been there, stuff like that.
Okay, go ahead and make a medicine check regarding him and a nature check regarding the razor.
The medicine check is a 21, and the nature check is a 3.
Medicine check. He has been there for maybe 2 days. He's still pretty fresh. Kind of looking more closely at him. He had some bandages already. It looks like he has like, and the bandages were all applied at different times. It looks like this is somebody that had just consistently been like sliding across razor vine and continually getting cut. This is death by 1,000. The best thing with the razor vine you can get with a 3 is it's very much like creeping vines, like creeping ivy, where it just like tendril grabbed onto something and then just worked its way along. It looks like that. Beyond that, you can't really tell anything.
And then can I see any identifying factors on him? Like tattoos or anything like that?
On his remaining skin, there are some like he has kind of the traditional marks of that Goliaths get, the tattoos that they get. Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
Okay. That is a 96.
96. All right. There. Poor guy. You do find kind of like going over for investigating him. You pull out one of his pockets, kind of rattles a little bit, and you pull out one small, deep red potion. You would immediately recognize this as a healing potion. And as a healer, actually, with your background and everything, this is a potion of healing greater.
Oh, this poor soul.
So I think it's
This
safe to
is a
assume.
potion of greater healing.
Oh wow.
To have this on you when you die is just...
Well, on the more pressing concern, it definitely seems like these razor vine are not necessarily maybe killing someone, but they're definitely feeding off of.
In the middle of puking.
I would absolutely...
In the middle of puking, I'm just gonna... does he have any marks on the hands?
Back of his hands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good... Okay, I'm going to look to see if he's got...
You pick up his hand, and both of his hands are completely stripped of skin, and it's exposed muscle and sinew. You would have to go into the razor vine to recover the degloved skin of the Goliath.
Worth it.
I don't believe we're going to be seeing his hands anytime soon. Raven just turns around and...
You're welcome to try it. And this is horrible to dive into, but are any of you familiar with how degloving works?
I mean, yeah, it turns everything inside out.
Yeah.
So it got torn off and like sheared off when he got pulled out of the razor vine.
Yeah,
because it's a
unrolling.
razor cut around the arm. I'm going to see if I can make Mike puke in real life. Yeah. But effectively what happened. So you're welcome to try, but you would have to go into the razor vine to try to cover the.
Ball is going to make a quick sketch of any identifying factors that he might have, like the typical markings, just so that when we go back, communicate who he might have been.
So far, it's based on boot size, which is a crazy way to generate race, but there have been 2 Goliaths that seem to have died on this track. Man, I'm going to use that just every time I need to be like, oh, what race is he? I'm going to roll a boot check.
Just roll a boot check. Yeah.
50 is an average, like, medium-sized human, and I'm just going to go from there in either direction.
So I do think to refine that a little bit, just in my opinion.
I don't need to refine boot sizing, okay?
Okay. All right. It's your world, man.
No, for the whatever given character is making the boot check, 50 marks their size of shoe. But all right.
So we're down 2 out of 12, right?
Yeah,
10 left.
About. Go ahead and make. Let's do. This is the last survival check of the day.
Uh, 15.
Proceed. You continue following the path for the majority of the day. The light kind of begins to fade. Getting into the evening. Following the tracks, still pretty heavy, but you kind of get to a very large clearing. And in the center of this clearing stands a very large tree. Reference. Sure. Surrounding the tree, like on the ground as you guys approach. And it, let me pull up just for reference here for you. On the ground, and you guys, there will be just on the ground surrounding the tree. There are large bloodstains. You guys, coming from, you would have been from this side, the eastern side, going more northwest. And
just for reference, the tree is like it's standing. It's a big tree. It's not like
it is a massive. That's cut off so that it does, like the top of the tree doesn't cover the map.
Gotcha.
But there are large splashes of blood, and as you are watching, and you see the pool of blood. You see a ripple in one, which draws your heads up the vines of this massive willow. The base of the tree constricted by the razor vine that you've seen, which extends into the branches and wraps down, surrounding these the tendrils of a willow tree. Suspended, hanging, seem to be about 10 bodies that are just slowly twisting in the wind. There is no other movement. There is no other presence.
Well, I think we found our party.
Just begs the question on how they got up there.
I'm not sure I want to find out how they got up there.
Paula pulls out her sketchbook.
Oh, it's a great time to to draw a picture. Okay. Huh.
And you said that You said that they were like hanging from like the razor vine out of the tree?
They're hanging, from these vines out of the tree. I would like to point out I pressed the wrong button.
Okay. That's like...
I kind of like it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
So I just want to point out, job finished, right? There's 2 on the trail, 10 right here. We
That's
know where the
12.
scouts are at.
I think it's time to make our way back, and I would venture I am all right spending a bit of evening time getting further away from here.
And not for any particular reason, I'm just going to drop a couple things out here. Just for reference, so you guys can see where the corpse there, body hanging there. And like I said, don't worry about this at all. Just
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. I don't feel
Not worried in the
any
least
kind
bit.
of panic.
Definitely not wanting me to turn tail and run faster. Pay no maintenance to the skull and crossbones.
and kind of as opposed to the glade you guys had found previously, this is almost like the opposite presence. That's where previously at the center of the glade it was lush and vibrant. Here the grass seems to have decayed, rotted. The tree, while still looking like it's alive, is gnarled and twisted, surrounded by this creeping razor vine. Obviously full of corpses dangling from a tree that I put in way too even of a circle. Just looked weird. Perfectly symmetrical circle of corpses. And at the heart of the base of the tree, Vala, with your perception, your passive perception, right here, you see a shimmer that looks pretty familiar as a similar tear as you had encountered previously.
There's most certainly another tear here. Down at the base of the tree.
Do we see
You
it?
can stay there. You can stay there as far as I'm concerned.
I say we venture to avoid this for now.
I mean, they're going to want to know how they got up in that tree, though, right?
The vines, obviously.
I think they wanted to know what happened to them.
And the vines yanked him up in the tree?
I have found a few things out about these vines that I would not. I would not hesitate to say that is what happened. They can grow roots very quickly. Within seconds, they can grow 2 inches of roots into the ground from just this small piece of it. And I pull out the vial that has the vine in it.
Right, and we've seen them grow over that last Goliath we found, but we've never seen them move anything, have we?
No, but I fear that we are closest to the source, and just as closer to the other tear, the seemed more vibrant. The closer we get to I would assume the vines have more power, more movement.
It's a great assumption.
I don't think that
assumptions, or we're going to go back to them with some evidence.
There's a kind of a gust of wind which causes the normal trees around you and this large tree in the center to sway a little bit, sending all the bodies in the trees start rocking.
I'm not.
You see one of the vines kind of slips and one of the bodies drop. They're all probably about 15 feet up. One of them drops and the legs of crunch into the ground and it's still held up by the vine.
Yeah. That.
The wind gusts again and the body that dropped shifts to the side and is almost pulled, so it almost looks like it's standing. And you can see now that it's closer on the ground, like vines have entangled it. And it's like holding it at kind of a weird angle, almost supporting the body.
I'd hate to have the same fate. It might be
I
time
don't
to
think
go.
we should get close to it. I really don't.
I don't want to either, but are we just gonna go back to town and say, hey, they're hanging in a creepy looking tree? That's all we know.
And what do you suggest?
Nothing smart, that's for certain.
Last
All
time
right.
we pushed towards one of these things, we encountered a nice thing.
Yeah,
That
this
herd
doesn't
turned
look
into
so
a
nice.
squirrel.
Nice.
Yeah, I only pressed towards that one because there wasn't dead bodies surrounding it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we should move in closer, but
Do we do the rock test again?
I'll take a couple steps, about 10 feet forward, and I'll cast Divine Sense.
And read Divine Sense off.
As an action, you can detect good and evil until the end of your turn. You can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that's not behind total cover.
You're not picking anything up. There's no evil. There's no undead, no celestial or fiend presence.
Okay. Well, I can at least tell you they're dead. Dead.
I'll cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
Let's see, is there something that I can use for Mage Hand? Sure. Why not? So I'll cast Mage Hand. Which one was the one that fell?
That was this one here. It like dropped to the ground.
So I'll have to move forward a little bit.
As you move forward, the wind like kind of gusts again, and it's been kind of like this for most of the evening, where the wind will just like pick up and blow, but the wind picks up and the body like lurches forward. It almost looks like it steps, and it's like pulled fully upright. And so as you step up to it, it like pulls up and like right in your face is just.
So that's Mage Hand. I don't.
Oh,
step
that's Mage
forward.
Hand, is it? Okay, so as it like the Mage Hand floats up to it, and it like does that like lurch where it's like hanging over the Mage Hand.
That doesn't look good. The Mage Hand is gonna try to. I guess it like one of the vines wrapped around it, and try to unwrap it.
As the Mage Hand touches against it, all of the bodies,
Yeah.
almost as though in the wind, drop to the ground and are lifted by the vines, and all like so not turning towards it, but are moving like get shifted almost like a marionette to it. The one there gets twisted and the hand flips up and just kind of passes through the ethereal hand in front of it and is just kept hanging there.
Yeah. This just
You
some
watch
good guys.
one of the vine like tendrils that's hanging up on it like kind of see curls a little bit around the front of the head and pulls it up, and it twists to like point directly over at Kaya, who's the closest to it.
Nope.
Just the sightless eyes pulled up.
Nope.
I'm gonna cast Bless on the party,
Okay.
like always with me. So that means you, whenever you roll an attack roll or a saving throw before my spell ends. You can roll a d4 and add the attack or saving throw.
Okay. How long does that last?
It is for. I'm sorry. 1 minute.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything?
Just staying back. I don't really feel like becoming part of the puppet show.
Another couple seconds go by, and the one that the hand is in front of, like, swings its other hand up, like taking a swipe at the mage hand that's next to it. And just every couple seconds, it's just like one of them will shift and turn, and like you can tell now there's something that what seemed like the wind being random movements. Now you can see every couple seconds, just one of them gets like twisted and turned like a poorly made puppet.
All right, one
I
more
think
test.
that we have plenty of information to tell them. There are tears in reality, and those tears are leaking through evil magics.
No. Okay, fine. Just one more thing. I'll just chuck a rock at the one that the mage hand's in front of. Good old chuck rock test.
Roll an attack.
Ooh, I love the
That
sound.
was fucking terrifying.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Natural 1. God, my
Natural
dice
one.
misses.
Well, that's so the rock clinks against the tree itself, and as it's physically like struck by something, all of the puppets drop and are placed just like 2 inches above the ground, and all like turn towards the party with the vines like twisting their heads.
Look what you did.
Roll initiative.
Run.
How long would you say is left on plus?
It's probably only been like 10 seconds. Like we'll say it's been 2 rounds.
I can see your rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know that?
They added that a little while ago.
No.
Yeah,
Pretty
if,
cool,
you're
huh?
if you're in the same campaign, it'll pop up. If you're doing digital rolls, it'll pop up with the rolls.
So Orelton got a 15.
Look at what I said.
I got a 20.
Nice.
12.
6. That's with a +5 initiative.
I guess at that point it's 7:55. How's everybody feeling?
I'm good to keep going, but it's up to you guys.
Okay, because I was gonna say otherwise, like we can either do it next time on Easy Dispel,
That's up to you.
My question-
Doesn't matter.
but I'm actually cool with continuing right now if you want. Let's call it here. Next time on Easy Dispel, as the razor vines begin to constrict you and you are grappled.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to shoot at the vines holding or above Orelton, holding onto him.
Orelton, you feel the vines above you snap under your weight as the arrow slices through the side of it. You see a slight reflection underneath the portal, a little off to the side, kind of where these vines have ensnared and grew up. There seems to be a small, like, black, glassy tablet.
Raven, are you alright?
No, this tablet isn't. It's not good.
We might have a small problem. Ven doesn't seem to be talking anymore.
At one point during the night, open your eyes, kind of look, and there's an old man sitting next to your fire. Underneath the hood, the wispy kind of gray beard that you'd seen comes up and meets a goat's face with long curled, ice blue eyes that cut into your soul. Vala, your dream is of home. Each of your sisters in turn walking, asking a question, and as you respond, cutting you in a different place.